Chapter 41, Kill Me Please. Can I Commit Suicide? Part 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Liam smirked as a dozen close combat players armed with various weapons rushed him from all sides. Well, no turning back now. He took a deep breath, sidestepping and contorting his body to evade 5 attacks at once. A couple of fireballs grazed him, but he moved again, avoiding the worst of the blast. What the? Where'd he go? Liam was a blur. No one could track his movements, let alone predict them. To make things worse, the game's realism meant attacks didn't distinguish between friend and foe. Ice shards and fireballs missed Liam and slammed into his teammates nearby. Bang! 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 3 men took lethal hits and dropped, their bodies dissolving into dust with a bright glow. What the fuck? Damn it! Aim, you idiots! Idiots! Jean Wei screamed, furious. Nothing was going his way, and this damn game wasn't helping. Heh. Should have learned the game first, Liam chuckled, his voice cutting through the sudden silence. The game hadn't been running long, so they hadn't grasped this detail yet, and the sudden turn of events caught everyone off guard. The group wasn't coordinated enough to recover, and their movements visibly slowed. Don't get cocky, motherfucker. This ain't over. You're celebrating too soon. You're not walking out of here alive. So what? Only 3 of us are down. We still got plenty to handle a loser like you. Tui. Jean Wei spat. He barely finished speaking when Liam materialized in front of him. Celebrating? Nah, I'm not happy at all. I'd actually preferred if those 3 hadn't died so fast, Liam muttered, *Huh. What's he babbling about, *? Jean Wei wondered, snarling and jabbing at Liam. This time, Liam didn't dodge. Instead, he spun, his fist shooting forward. Bam! Jean Wei froze, trembling. He was paralyzed, all strength suddenly gone. He looked down, dumbfounded, as excruciating pain erupted in his lower abdomen. Liam's hand was still inside him, twisting his intestines in his grip. Ack! Aya! Aya! He screamed, the pain unbearable. He didn't know what was happening, only that, * why the fuck am I not dead yet, his eyes bulged as he screamed, desperately checking his health bar, which was dropping slowly, *ack, Jean Wei cursed his luck, wishing his teammates would accidentally kill him. But the jerks were only targeting Liam. * How much health does he even have? As the thought crossed his mind, Liam's other hand appeared, holding a shiny glass bottle. Glug. 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 To Jean Wei's dismay, Liam casually tossed back the bottle, then stashed the empty in his inventory. * Was that a health potion? Wait, he saved an empty bottle in the middle of a fight? * He didn't know what to be more shocked by. He wondered if he was going crazy from the pain, fixating on useless details. In reality, what felt like an eternity to Jean Wei happened in a split second. The health potion helped Liam maintain his condition, shrugging off a few attacks. As Liam stood calmly, Jean Wei's face paled further. The next second, a distinct crunch echoed from his body, and the pain intensified 100-fold. Aya! 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 He screamed again, and everyone around them, including Bharat, shuddered, though they weren't sure what was happening. Something was clearly wrong. Zemin immediately targeted Jean Wei with his next attack. Seeing this, a faint ray of hope flickered in Jean Wei's pain-filled eyes. It would finally be over soon. * I need to find the pain settings for this game. Jean Wei closed his eyes, gritting his teeth, but another notification popped up. Ding. Your mana meridians have been permanently damaged. Ding. Your mana is now 0. What? Jean Wei, filled with dread and fear, looked at Liam one last time before collapsing, dead. Chapter 42, Kill Me Please. Can I Commit Suicide? Part 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Huh? What just happened? Why was Wei yelling like that? No one could figure out what they just witnessed. All they knew was Liam had just healed himself with a potion. Even Zemin, the group leader, was clueless. Regroup. Regroup. Coordinated attack. No blind rushes. Watch where you're swinging your weapons. Jin Wei's death snapped them back to reality, and Zemin started giving more direct orders. That potion won't last forever. Focus fire and whittle him down. Fewer spells, better aim. Zemin roared, conjuring a massive fireball in his hand and aiming it, but Liam wasn't about to be a sitting duck. He blurred again, appearing this time in front of another player, just like before. His fists flew, one clamping onto the guy's throat, the other digging into his lower abdomen, twisting the flesh and organs. Gah! Ah! Ah! Gumu screamed in agony, his eyes bulging, biting his tongue, unable to handle the pain. Meanwhile, a barrage of attacks slammed into Liam. Bang! 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 With both fists still locked in place, he leaned and swayed, dodging most of the attacks while keeping his feet planted. Tiny movements, yet he dodged most of the incoming fire while still holding on to his target. Gumu shrieked, "Ah! What's happening? Somebody kill him, please. Just kill me, please." He was being thrashed around like a rag doll, and the intense pain in his abdomen hadn't let up. He struggled and twitched, his body convulsing, but Liam's grip wouldn't budge. Then, a loud crack echoed, "Ding! Your mana meridians have been permanently damaged. Ding! Your mana is now 0. Gumu stared at the notification, but he was in too much pain to understand. All he could do was scream. And scream. The next second, something else hit him, and he finally went limp, his health bar emptying. His body dissolved into dust, scattered by the wind. Everyone stared, mouths agape. Liam calmly pulled out another health potion, chugging it and carefully saving the empty bottle, same as before. What the? Jin Wei and Gumu, just like that? What the hell was going on? As they gawked, Liam blurred again. He was now in front of Zemin, the leader. Too bad you didn't heed my warning. Heh. His words were like twisting the knife. Zemin shuddered, thinking about those screams of agony. He couldn't shake the fear that he was next. Seeing Liam's thin lips curl into a cruel grin, and his hands reaching out, a warning bell went off in his head. Something bad was about to happen. Everything happened so fast. Almost without realizing it, he jammed the sharp end of his own staff into his throat. Thud. His body hit the ground, turning to dust, leaving Liam's hand hanging in the air. Huh. Not bad. This one has some brains. Liam chuckled, shrugging. He then moved on to his next target, some random player on his right. The remaining players, already freaked out, watched in a daze. This was the final blow to their morale. Their own leader just committed suicide. What were they supposed to do? Earlier, they'd all been excited to gang up on some poor sap, but that sap turned out to be a demon, and now he was taking them out one by one. Worst of all, their strongest member, their leader, just offed himself before the fight even started. Panic set in. Whatever composure they had was gone. They frantically attacked the demon again. The melee fighters started dropping like flies. Liam continued his rampage, systematically crippling as many players as he could. He managed to cripple 2 more before the group's private chat exploded with messages. Commit suicide. Run. Kill each other. Do whatever you have to, get out of there. Gumu and Jin Wei were still traumatized by the excruciating pain, but Zemin had luckily avoided that. So, he was able to talk to the other two, and his worst fears were confirmed. The bastard was using some special ability to inflict a weird status effect. Their mana was zeroed out, and their meridians were damaged. What that actually meant was still unclear, but permanent damage filled him with dread. If this status was truly permanent, their guild was crippled before it even launched. And the bastard was targeting key members, one after the other. Nothing this guy did was casual. Even though he seemed so nonchalant. At this rate, their group would be completely wiped out. Chapter 43, Bear King Part 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Barat blinked. What the hell? He'd expected a massacre, but this wasn't how it was supposed to go down. Instead of a gang chasing one guy, the lone wolf was tearing through the group. And they'd completely folded, scattering like marbles. Barat swallowed hard. Even just hearing the screams was way too real. He was still gawking when a couple of guys bolted in his direction. Barat's eyes narrowed, and he made a snap decision. Earth bind. Earth bind. The ground under their feet turned to quicksand, trapping their legs. Before they could escape, the mud hardened, locking them in place. Fuck. Who the hell are you, bitch? Ah, shit. Cut it out. What did we do to you? Why are you even here? Barat ignored them, waving at Liam. Hey, I got two for you, boss. He knew Liam had to have spotted him by now, so he just called him over. No. No. He's gonna cripple us. Bastard. Who are you? They screamed. Liam was amused. Oh, not bad. His voice carried from a distance, and then he was standing right next to Barat, both fists shot out, twisting something inside the two men. Seconds later, they were dead with a special status effect added to them. Seeing it up close was way creepier than watching from afar. Barat took a step back. What was this guy doing to them? He'd heard the word cripple in their screams and wondered what that meant, but he didn't have the guts to ask Liam. It'd only take him a second to do the same to him. I think the others ran, he mumbled awkwardly. Liam hummed, dusting his hands and looking around. Everyone had bailed, but he'd managed to snag a dozen or so. That was enough to teach them the lesson he wanted to. Well, that's that. They should leave me alone for a while, at least. He casually gathered up the dropped equipment and started walking away, not giving anything or anyone a second glance. Hey! Barat saw his chance and hurried to catch up. Boss, you need any help? I'm free right now. And, I'm already here. Liam chuckled, not stopping. You're free. Okay, then. Follow me. Barat could hardly believe it. He agreed that easily. At first, he was stoked, but then he got nervous. Was Liam planning something extra nasty for him? He remembered those screams and shivered. They walked in silence, covering ground. The longer it went on, the more nervous Barat got. He wished he'd just said no. What class do you play, by the way? Liam's voice startled him, and he blurted, Mage, boss. Not bad. Liam nodded, then stopped in the middle of the woods. All right. Just spam your skills and try not to get in the way. Huh? What? Barat looked around, confused. He'd been so worried about Liam he hadn't noticed where they were. He craned his neck, trying to spot what they were going to fight. Was this a test? He didn't have to wonder for long. A loud roar ripped through the air behind them. Thud. A massive beast bounded out of the trees. A huge grizzly bear with blood-red eyes. Fuck. It's here. Barat shouted. The bear was enormous, its shadow like a dark cloud. It had a golden glow around it, so it was at least an elite monster. Barat wasn't even level 10 yet, so when he tried to check the bear's stats, all he saw was question marks. Players could only see the stats of beasts around their level, and this bear was definitely above his. The bear's presence was overwhelming. Barat felt like he was underwater. He could barely react, but Liam was already moving. He was even smiling, looking at the bear like he loved it. What level is he? Barat wondered, dumbfounded. They weren't in a party, so he couldn't see anything. He'd been waiting for Liam to invite him, but that wasn't happening. Barat wanted to cry. He still thought Liam had connections that gave him extra info about the game, but his skills were even more terrifying, and somehow, he'd ended up as this monster's unpaid intern. Chapter 44, Bear King Part 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Alright, big guy, Liam said, grinning as he watched the grizzly roar. Bear King Barabara, elite boss, level 15. Health, 50,000. The bear had almost 25 times more health than him, so Liam knew its attacks would pack a serious punch. This was a field boss, after all, not something a single player was supposed to solo, but he wasn't scared in the slightest. Even standing face to face with this massive beast, it felt like seeing an old friend, a bittersweet memory. He never got the chance to fight this bear back then, but now he could mess around with it as much as he wanted. Liam moved in a blur, and a long sword materialized in his hand, shimmering with cold steel. Wasting no time, he dashed toward the rampaging bear, meeting it halfway. Slash. 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 He moved nimbly, circling the bear as his sword danced, barely scratching the beast with each strike. The weapon shuddered with the impact. 10, 15, 10. Liam chuckled, looking at the pathetic damage numbers. But what did he expect? This was a field boss. Its defense was so high that it completely negated his basic damage potential, which was easily 400 to 500 if he went all out. Instead, all he was doing was a measly 10 to 15 damage. The sword wasn't strong enough either, shuddering as it struck the bear king's thick hide, only chipping away small bits of health. Liam had anticipated this, so he wasn't too surprised. Besides, he came prepared. As Liam flashed around the monster, using his agility to his advantage against the slower, stronger bear, But finally snapped out of his daze and backed away. It took him a few seconds, but the bear's angry growls woke him up. He was a mage, no reason to be so close to the bear. He hesitated, waiting to see if Liam would give him instructions, but both the man and the beast completely ignored him. Ah, so that's what he meant by, "Don't get in my way." But wiped his forehead. "I'll just do what I can." He wasn't discouraged and decided to take it as an opportunity, not that he was planning to steal any kills or anything. He was just curious to see how Liam would solo this boss. He couldn't see the damage numbers like Liam, but he could see the damage his own attacks did, so, he could somewhat gauge the effectiveness of Liam's sword attacks. Plus, Liam hadn't even drawn blood yet. He was eager to watch and see what would happen, what secret technique Liam was going to use. He watched patiently, his eyes peeled. A few seconds passed, then a minute. But nothing happened. Liam was simply slashing at the bear from different angles, chipping away at its health. Nothing else. It was impressive how he continued to evade the bear's attacks, knowing that even one hit could take him out. The pressure was on to move perfectly every time. The beast was furious at being toyed with, its red eyes glared at Liam, and the two continued their dance. But did his part, sending fireballs and arcane bolts. Fireball was a standard magic attack, but arcane bolt was rarer, firing concentrated mana bullets that packed more punch. Before meeting this sword-wielding maniac, But had thought he was off to a lucky start. Now, his whole perspective was different. He knew he had to work harder if he wanted to be anywhere near the top. But narrowed his eyes, trying to coordinate with Liam, targeting the bear's injured spots. He paid more attention to the battle, doing his best. Maybe this way, he could part ways with Liam on good terms and maybe even add him as a friend. He carefully managed his mana, moved closer, and barraged the bear. He really wanted to impress Liam. As the fight went on, he grew more comfortable and noticed something weird, charred marks on one of the injuries. He stopped attacking, focusing on Liam instead of the bear. Almost immediately, he was shocked. He could tell something was different. Other players might not notice, but as a mage, he could see it. He'd thought Liam was just grinding the bear down, but he realized he was mistaken. Liam was up to something else. Chapter 45, Sometimes There Is No Shortcut. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Damn it. This is taking forever. Liam slashed at the bear again. He quickly grabbed a piece of fruit and popped it in his mouth to get his stamina back up. His health wasn't the issue, but his stamina was draining fast. He chewed the fruit, letting his body keep moving. He didn't change his attack pattern, though. He stuck to the same simple sword slash. At least that's how it looked. He had stronger moves, but he kept using this one. No matter how long it took, it seemed like he was stalling or just wasting time. But Liam wasn't doing either. He was training. Any other target wouldn't have lasted this long. They would have been dead in a second, and the training wouldn't have been as effective. But the bear's strong defense, being an elite field boss, made it perfect. Liam wasn't going to waste the chance. He was training as hard as he could. And what was he training? Nothing fancy, he didn't know any advanced sword techniques. If he did, he wouldn't have died so pathetically in his past life. He only knew the basics, and in his previous life, his mana affinity was so low it was basically non-existent, so he couldn't even practice this skill, but in this life, he was one of the lucky ones. He wasn't born with amazing stats, but he'd get there soon enough. That meant his mana absorption, manipulation, and usage would be top-notch. So he definitely wanted to train this technique. It was the basis for one of the strongest abilities out there, and the foundation for the battle mage class. Liam didn't plan on becoming a battle mage, but he wanted to perfect the technique. Swordplay was already second nature to him. It would be a waste not to combine it with mana, which could unlock the sword's full potential. Like his spirit sword techniques that relied on his inner spirit and soul, there were also arcane sword techniques that relied on mana. Specifically, combining the power of mana with the strength of the sword, and that's exactly what Liam was practicing. He'd never used this move before, so he was a novice, struggling to pull it off, but he knew the basics and had seen it used many times, so he was making progress. With every slash, he improved and gained more experience. He even almost succeeded a few times, leaving charred marks on the giant black bear, but before he could get any further, the bear went into a frenzy and charged at him. Its red eyes glowed with rage, and it let out an earth-shattering roar. Its speed, agility, and strength suddenly spiked. Liam pulled back instantly. Boss monsters always went berserk when their health dropped to the last 5%, he played it safe, focusing on dodging. He used his long-range skills, lightning bolt, and fireball. The Bear King was weak to these elements, and with Bharat's attacks, almost all of its thick fur was burned off, and its body was riddled with injuries. The rest of the bear's health was quickly depleted, and it collapsed with a loud thud. Experience points and notifications popped up, but Liam clicked his tongue, annoyed. TCH. It won't respawn for another 10 hours. No point in sticking around. He needed a new training target. He kicked the bear's body into position and severed its head with one clean strike. Alright. Quest complete. Time to head to the city. Liam tossed the bear's head and a couple of pieces of dropped equipment into his inventory. Chapter 46, World Famous. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding. Congrats. You wasted Bear King Barabara. 20,000 XP gained. Ding. Congrats. First player to waste the elite Bear King Barabara and save the city from getting wrecked. Your achievement will be legendary. Liam smirked and swiped the notifications away. Alright, here we go. The very next second, a loud ding chimed, and bright letters flashed in front of him, and every other player online. Ding. World announcement, player Chong Liam wasted the elite Bear King Barabara. His glory will be sung forever. Bharat gasped, seeing the same thing everyone else did, getting a shout-out like that in the first 24 hours. Unbelievable, and considering this was the first world announcement, he just stared, dumbfounded, from the flashing words to the guy in front of him. So, Liam, huh? Every player in the game had just gotten this message. They all knew his name now. It was a cool achievement, something to be envied, but also, fame always brings haters. Even this one announcement was enough to paint a target on his back. He'd be dealing with harassment and ganking for sure. Plus, watching him, Bharat was pretty sure this guy was a lone wolf, no backup whatsoever. How was he going to handle all that on his own? He scanned Liam's face, looking for any sign of fear or worry. But the guy seemed preoccupied, barely even registering the announcement. He was right. Liam knew this was coming. This game, or rather, the tutorial, was supposed to prep everyone for the changes in the real world, but that wasn't the whole story. It helped the planet's inhabitants, sure, but it also stirred up chaos. That's why there was no way to hide your identity or appearance. The more you stood out, the harder the game got. Nobody was going to be allowed to just breeze to the top. This was inevitable, and Liam wasn't about to delay anything or change his plans because of it. Otherwise, he'd miss out, and he wouldn't be able to achieve his goals. Best to just get this over with now, Liam sighed, already looking at the next notifications. The night was young, and he knew there was more coming. Ding. Level up. Ding. Level up. Ding. Congrats. Reached level 15. Ding. Congrats. First person on the world leaderboard. Your achievement will be legendary. Right after he cleared that, another announcement blasted out. Ding. World announcement, the world leaderboard is now live. Only the strongest will be listed. Liam didn't even bother opening the leaderboard. He knew what it would look like, 50 spots, and right now, only his name was there, sitting at number 1, putting him in the spotlight again, and as if that wasn't enough, taking out a player on the leaderboard would get you special rewards, bonus drops, and tons of experience. Liam flicked the notifications away and picked up the pace. Things were about to get crazy fast, but his goals were still the same. He looked up at the huge city ahead, his gaze steady. Bring it on. Hey. Boss. Barat realized he was being left behind and ran after him. Wait up. What's up? Got some free time? Liam chuckled. Dude. You're famous now. Don't you think you should have someone watching your back? Barat saw his chance and took it. Heh. You're right, but I've already got buddies. Don't sweat it. Come on, man. You gonna start a guild someday, right? And dungeons and raids, this game's gotta have those. You gonna want more players. Just hit me up if you need backup. I've got a few friends. We can help out. Barat hadn't expected that. Liam actually stopped walking. Okay, deal. Friend me, and I'll call you if I need anything. Chapter 47, Grinding Time. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Barat grinned, fired off a friend request before the other guy could change his mind. Liam, buried under a pile of requests from the world announcement, dug Barat's out and accepted. They split up. Barat didn't even have the 50 silver entrance fee for the city. Liam watched him go, then headed toward the city gates. He was still on the fence about a lot of things, like starting a guild or trying to build some influence, but he couldn't do it all himself. Even with all the knowledge, he'd need some people to handle the grunt work. Trusting people was always a gamble, but he had some special items he could use. So taking on a few helpers might not be a bad idea, but that could wait. First things first, he tossed the 50 silver to the city guard and strolled through the huge iron gates. Liam checked his quest log. The Bear King quest was marked complete. He needed to meet the instructor to get his rewards, but he wasn't about to waste time running back and forth. The instructor, along with some other VIPs, would be in the city in a couple of days for the black market opening. It was a bi-weekly event and a treasure trove of secrets, and that's exactly what Liam was after. He planned to use this downtime to get everything ready so he could crack all the secrets wide open when the time came. Liam hummed to himself, looking around at the familiar tall buildings and the impressive architecture, which was heavily influenced by classic European design. He looked relaxed, but he was moving way faster than the other people in the city, who were almost all NPCs at this point. He ducked into narrow alleys, scaled walls, using the shortcuts he knew, and reached his destination in a matter of seconds. He rounded the corner and found himself in front of the city's auction house, which was way bigger than the one back in town. Rare and valuable items were sold within these walls, but it wasn't time for that yet. Liam was still just stockpiling low and mid-tier materials. He walked up to the building, leaning against one of the stone walls. A menu popped up, listing all the items currently available. His eyes scanned the list, quickly checking for herbs and any recipes. He didn't care what kind, as long as he didn't already know it. He bought it. There were also a bunch of ores and gemstones, but Liam didn't even glance at them. After buying another load of herbs, he stretched. He was done here. Supply shops next, Liam said, and went to a shop across the street. Good day, sir. The merchant's face lit up like he could smell the gold in Liam's pockets. Hey. I need to buy some mining equipment. I need pickaxes, hammers, shovels, and sturdy sacks. About 50 sets. The merchant's smile grew even wider. He'd guessed right. Coming right up, sir. Anything else I can get you? He hurried off to fill the order. A few minutes later, he came back with all the stuff, and Liam quickly stuffed it into his inventory. That'll be 1 gold after the discount, sir. Liam nodded and paid him. He got a small discount because of his rolling in debt title, but it wasn't much. He bought some more stamina refills, including some smaller fruits to snack on, and left the shop. Liam walked a few blocks over to the mining association to buy mining rights, which all players had to do. This also gave him the basic mining skill, ding. Congratulations. You have learned the mining trade skill. He dismissed the notification headed straight out of the city. There was also a blacksmithing association next to the mining association, which offered quests and skills for the blacksmithing trade, but he ignored it. He walked out of the city and into the nearby forest. As he was one of the few players in the city, the guard recognized him. Didn't he just come in? The 2 guards looked at Liam suspiciously, but he was already gone. He wouldn't be back until the black market. Chapter 48, A Little Too Late. You are listening at novelfull.audio. While Liam was lost in his own little world, 2 back-to-back world announcements rocked the game, creating a frenzy among the players. Meanwhile, not far from the royal city, 3 figures zipped around inside a massive, deep pit, using the rocks and tree roots sticking out of the walls to navigate. They were especially careful to avoid the center of the pit, and for good reason. Lying at the bottom were several chopped-up green snake corpses, and in the dead center, a huge green boa watched. The humans with its sinister, yellow, slit-like eyes, hisses. The boa lunged at lightning speed toward the red-haired girl, but before it could strike, a massive metal shield slammed into its head. Ha! Alex grunted, taking the full force of the attack. Ray, what the heck? Why are you so slow? Sorry, sis. Ray stammered, firing off 2 arrows in quick succession. But his aim was off. Since he rushed the shots, the boa recovered and attacked again, this time spitting a cloud of deadly poison gas. Alex raised her shield again, her movements noticeably sluggish from the poison's paralyzing effect. Damn it, Ray. The thing's practically dead. Why are you screwing up now? Crap. Ray was more scared of the woman than the realistic anaconda-sized serpent. He quickly readied another arrow, this time activating the booster for extra power and accuracy. The arrow zipped through the air. Luckily for Ray, he nailed the shot this time. Unfortunately for him, the boa dodged at the last second with incredible agility. The beast raised its head to attack the paralyzed tank again. Oh, man, I am so dead today, Ray muttered under his breath. They were fighting a field boss with an annoying regeneration ability. If they didn't finish it in the next few seconds, the fight would basically reset, and they'd have to start all over. And of course, he'd get the blame. Alex is gonna kill me. Ray shivered. He watched as a green light enveloped the giant boa, slowly healing its injuries and bruises. But just as the light spread, another flash appeared, and the boa's head was cleanly severed. Divine retribution, Mia said calmly, ding. Congratulations. You have defeated the giant poisonous boa. You have gained 13,000 experience points, ding. You have leveled up, ding. Congratulations. You have reached level 15, ding. Congratulations. Your fame spreads far and wide. You are currently 15th on the world leaderboard. Alex smiled, satisfied with their hard work, and collapsed on the ground, exhausted. Huff huff. Thanks, Mia. Perfect timing. She paused and shot a threatening glare at Ray, adding, I would have killed someone if we had to restart that stupid fight. Ray took a step back and started rummaging through the corpse for loot, pretending not to hear her, though his shaky hands betrayed his nervousness, but Alex wasn't letting him off the hook. She chucked her shield at him in annoyance. Why were you so distracted? Ray was speechless. Didn't you guys see the world announcements? He looked at his scary teammates. Alex and Mia shook their heads. Unlike you, we actually turned off notifications during the fight, like any sane person would, Alex scoffed. Ray ignored the remark and replied shamelessly with a smile. Heh heh. You'll be shocked. Check it out. My big bro unlocked the leaderboard and killed a field boss. He got system-wide announcements for both. Ugh. Pathetic. That guy won't even talk to you properly, and you're calling him big bro? You're such an idiot, Alex scolded him, while looking at the two back-to-back announcements. While there could be other people with the same name, they knew it was the same person they'd partied with. If we'd killed this thing sooner, we could have gotten that announcement. Damn it. I can't believe that jerk beat us to it by a few minutes. Alex gritted her teeth, mentally picturing punching the guy with the hateful smile on his face. Mia remained silent, as if it didn't concern her. She bent down and picked up the skill book that dropped from the field boss. Ray, here. This skill book is yours. Oh, sweet. The tame skill, finally. Awesome. He kissed the skill book and pumped his fist. Let's go, let's go. I need a cool pet now. So you're going with the Beast Hunter class? Alex frowned. Yep. Totally. Liam told me to stick with the training hall class recommendations, and I'm gonna do it. He declared proudly. Idiot, Alex kicked his shin, making him yelp in pain. She ignored him and started talking to Mia. Should we log out? We need to get some sleep. Tomorrow's a big day. Hearing that, Mia's usually calm expression faltered slightly, and she nodded. The two logged out, while Ray decided to stay and explore a bit on his own. Chapter 49, No Matter What It Took. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In a high-rise in New York City, two women stepped out of a boardroom and into the elevator. One was a blonde with long, curly hair, and the other, a redhead. Mia, are you okay? Alex asked, gently patting her arm. It hurt her to see her best friend in so much pain. Mia nodded slightly, a bitter smile on her face. They're trying to take advantage of me because I'm young, aren't they? Alex sighed. Those selfish assholes. If your aunt and uncle were still alive. But they're not, Alex, Mia interrupted. Silence filled the elevator. At the ground floor, Mia silently hailed a cab. Mia, just come home with me. I don't want you to be alone, Alex insisted, taking her hand. No. I need some time to think. I'll call you tomorrow. Seeing the worry on Alex's face, she added with a sad smile, don't worry. I won't do anything stupid. Her words didn't reassure Alex, but she forced a smile and waved as the cab pulled away. She wasn't planning on leaving Mia alone for long. I'll wait a couple of hours, then bring her dinner. Alex pulled out her phone and scrolled through her emails, flagging down another cab. The past few weeks had turned their lives upside down. Mia's parents had died in an accident, leaving her the sole heir to their properties and shares. Initially, everyone was too grief-stricken to notice, but then Walter, their business partner and a close friend of Mia's parents, betrayed her at her lowest point. He manipulated the stock prices, which were already plummeting because of the CEO's, Mia's father's, unexpected death. Now, under the guise of a hostile takeover, he was trying to swallow the whole company by teaming up with their biggest competitor. Unless Mia could somehow gather significant financial backing quickly, she had almost no chance of stopping him. But how could a young woman barely out of high school, with little business experience, manage that? Regardless of her intelligence, she couldn't handle this storm alone. Alex knew that Mia was desperate enough to sell everything they owned. The company was her father's dream, he'd worked his entire life to build it, and Mia didn't want to lose it the same year she lost him. Alex felt the same, but unlike Mia, she wasn't rich. She had a comfortable trust fund, but they were in completely different leagues. Even if she gave Mia everything she had, it wouldn't make a dent in what she needed. She felt helpless, but she couldn't abandon her friend, her sister. When she needed her most, she had to do something. Alex sighed and got out of the cab, heading back to her apartment, her mind racing. Alex. Alex. Did you see this? This game is exploding. Do you know how many players have signed up already? And it's only been out for a day. It's insane. This is going to be the next big thing. Ray shouted, his eyes glued to the esports news channel, but Alex, slumped on the couch beside him, stared blankly at the television, unresponsive. Is it really that big? She muttered, dazed. Yes. Do you even know the gold-to-dollar ratio right now? Alex shook her head, a few strands of red hair falling across her face. By the way, we've already fallen off the leaderboard. People are grinding day and night, Anne. Ray continued excitedly about the latest in-game and out-of-game developments, but Alex wasn't listening. She had completely zoned out, her mind swirling with possibilities. Many popular video games had come and gone. They usually had a high in-game currency to real-world currency exchange rate, but it inevitably crashed within a few months even though this new game was shrouded in mystery, and no one knew what was really going on. The hype probably wouldn't last long either, but still, if she were a betting woman, she'd bet on the hype lasting at least a year. That gave Alex an idea. If she could somehow become incredibly powerful in a short amount of time, maybe, just maybe, she could gather enough resources to save Mia's company and stop the takeover. While Mia was dealing with company issues, Alex could potentially help by earning resources in the game, and if the game somehow managed to last longer, their company could even gain a lot by becoming an official sponsor of an in-game guild or esports team. The possibilities were endless. It was a golden opportunity. Sure, she could work hard through some other avenue and possibly get the same result, but this was the fastest, highest risk, highest reward option. Call it intuition or a gut feeling, but she knew this was the way to go. Something told her she needed to trust her instincts and invest time and effort into this game. Alex closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Now that she'd made the decision, her brain was already calculating what she needed to do to achieve her goals. How could she possibly stand out from the hordes of professional gamers and skilled players? She took a few deep breaths and considered it from different angles, but no matter how hard she thought, the same person's image kept flashing in her mind, the obvious shortcut staring her right in the face. If she could just use him. Alex gritted her teeth. She was determined to go as far as she needed to. She was putting everything on the line, so how could she hesitate about something like this? After all, it was just a game, right? How realistic could it be? Something like that couldn't possibly matter as long as it didn't happen in real life. She bit her lip and turned to her brother, who was back to watching the news. Do you still have that jerk on your friend list? Chapter 50, Meet Me at the Inn. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Clang. Clang. Clang, clang. Clang. Clang, the sounds echoed loudly from deep within an abandoned mine in the forest. A lone figure stood amidst the scattered corpses of green-skinned goblins. He ignored them, stepping over the bodies as he relentlessly hammered his mining pick against the metallic ore. Seconds turned into minutes, and minutes into hours. Yet, the young man's rhythm never faltered. He methodically worked each of the 3 ore nodes in front of him, one after the other, without a break. Oddly, the ore wasn't anything special, just common iron. Every so often, 1 or 2 goblins would respawn right where he stood and attack him, but he dispatched them in seconds, then returned to his monotonous mining. Ding. 50 experience points gained. Ding. 50 experience points gained. Liam dismissed the notifications, kicking the latest 2 goblins aside. He didn't bother looting them, they mostly carried loincloths and rusty weapons. The bodies piled up faster than usual. Just as he started mining again, another notification appeared. Ding. Incoming call from Ray. Answer. Y/N. Liam muttered yes, without stopping his work. Hey, bro. Congrats on the server announcements. You're killing it. Ray's voice boomed, and Liam shook his head. Thanks. Anything else? Alright. Alex wants to meet. Can you tell me where you are? Huh. Why? Liam was surprised. He was sure she couldn't stand him after their dungeon run. Yeah, it's weird, but she won't tell me why. Says she'll only talk to you. Liam paused for a moment, the clanging of his pick the only sound. Fine. Tell her to call me, then. Got it. Thanks, bro. Let me know when you're free to party up again. Later. A beep sounded as Ray ended the call quickly, as if afraid of being blocked. A few seconds later, Liam checked his friend requests and saw Alex's name among the hundreds. Accept, he muttered. The call came through instantly. Hello. Is this Liam? A hesitant voice asked. Yep. Who else would it be? Alex ignored his snarky reply. Where are you? I need to see you in person, like, now. Can't, he said flatly. What? Why not? Expecting him to jump at the chance to meet her, she was thrown off by his response. I'm busy, Liam replied indifferently. Silence hung in the air. He shrugged and went back to work. After a few more silent seconds, as he was about to end the call, Alex blurted out, when will you be free? I'll wait. It's important, and it'll be worth your time. Can we meet? The urgency in her voice piqued his interest. Besides, talking to her for a few minutes wasn't a big deal. Okay. Tomorrow. I'll be in Alika City. Let's meet at the local inn around noon. Okay, thanks. You won't regret this. Alex, relieved, hung up quickly, then realized what she'd said. She had thanked him and told him he wouldn't regret it. Mortified, she fumed. What's up, Alex? You okay? What did Liam say? What did you ask him? Ray asked, curious. He couldn't understand why his sister was suddenly so serious about the game. Nothing. Gotta run. I'll be back later, Alex mumbled vaguely, turning away to hide her face. She hurried away, leaving Ray thoroughly confused. We could have done the quest together. Why is she running off like that? He scratched his head. The leaderboard had sparked a frenzy to level up, so Ray quickly forgot about Alex and refocused on his own goals. Meanwhile, Liam continued mining. His next 24 hours were packed, and he thought of nothing else. Ding, your mining skill proficiency has increased to intermediate level. Normally, it was hard to improve mining skills on common ores like iron, and it was inefficient, but Liam had already sunk over 24 hours of game time into this, and he intended to keep going for another 24. Unlike everyone else, he wasn't trying to climb the leaderboard or get rich. Those things would become irrelevant in the future. What he was after would stay with him. Liam grinned. Tomorrow was crucial, and his future plans depended on it. If he succeeded, he'd be one step closer.